Overcoming barriers to communication, strategies for breaking down the barriers. Now, in a previous video, we looked at different barriers to communication, things that get in the way of a message being understood by an audience. What we're going to look at in this video is a variety of strategies that can assist in overcoming these barriers when communicating with different and diverse audiences. So the first one we're going to look at is the use of a combination of communication styles. So this means using a combination of spoken, written, visual, or electronic methods to deliver information to a group. Now, the big advantage here is if you're using more than one mode of communication, you're covering more areas of communication that your audience might understand. So if they're not good with spoken language and hearing and comprehending what a speaker is saying, visual stimulus that the speaker is using, whether that might be through a presentation or PowerPoint that's going on behind them, might help them understand the information. So when a presenter is using a PowerPoint to support what they're saying, then they're giving both visual and spoken communication to the audience. And hopefully, one or the other can be the method that is understood by different members of the audience. And then they might have text and diagrams on their presentation covering more subcategories of communication. So, the more types of communication styles you have or are using to deliver the message, more likely it will be adopted by the audience you're trying to get it to. The second area is controlling the environment where you're delivering the information. So, whether you're at university, your speaker will hopefully be speaking in an auditorium if they're talking to over 100 students, okay, where the actual landscape of the room with the escalating chairs and the speaker down the bottom at the front allows their voice to project to those students at the back of the room. Even within classroom environments, that the teacher controls the classroom by making sure that students are quiet in the classroom so that their voice can be heard. Students who have hearing impairments, and if it's known about, they get moved to the front of the class so they can hear better. Okay, and then also having those tools readily available, such as a projector for presenting information on screen. That's within the environment too, to support the use of visual stimulus that might happen through a PowerPoint presentation. So controlling the environment can also assist in delivering information. The third area is acknowledging audience emotion. Okay, that we acknowledge when we're talking about information where the audience might have an emotional stance on that information. Okay, in particular, if we're the speaker talking about this stuff, we display genuine empathy when addressing these topics or responding to an audience's um, opinion when they're giving an emotional response. We've got to factor that in, that we might not be the expert or know everything about it, but we at least acknowledge it to make the audience happy, because some people are going to have very fixed and firm stances on opinions, and we might be presenting another opinion that they do not agree with. But at least if we give them understanding in their opinion, show we still respect their opinion, hopefully they will also take our opinion on board as well. The next area is the use of clear language, and this one's pretty straightforward. That when we speak, we're clear and concise. We don't speak too fast, which is something I get criticized a lot of myself and might even be doing actually right now. Okay, and we use very clear general terms. Okay, the other thing we're also doing here is minimizing our use of jargon, okay, slang, terms that everyone might understand even if they do know the language that you're speaking. Okay, because that might make it harder for people to understand the information when I'm delivering that to them. So keeping it as clear and concise as possible and straight to the point with the use of my language when delivering a message. The next area is clarifying understanding. So I've had my spiel, I've delivered my information. I might now throw out some questions to the audience or reiterate my own points in order to ensure that what I've said has been understood. And one such method of reiteration is that of active listening. Okay, that I've given it out to the audience, or someone's asked me a question from the audience about what I've said, and then I repeat back to them their question to ensure that I've shown them that I understand their question, and then I give my response. But also, yeah, throwing out a few questions, it keeps people on their toes as well because they're worried that you're going to pick them in order to ask the question. Okay, but confirming that they understand what you were talking about there. And then the final area for breaking down these barriers is that of building trust with the audience. Communications and the communicator themselves being genuine and showing who they are, speaking honestly. Do you jump straight into the information, or do you give a bit about your history and who you are if you're meeting an audience for the first time? Okay, are you displaying why you are an expert in this field or why you know what you're talking about? What are you giving the audience for them to get a feeling of understanding and respect, and why they should listen to you? Okay, this will hopefully motivate them to receive that message. Okay, as well as open up communication with the audience and let them know they feel valued. Okay, that you are an expert and they're free to ask their opinions and speak to you, and you will take on board what they say and respond to it as well. So build that trust, get to know your audience. So I hope this video is giving you understanding of different strategies that can be used in order to break down these communication barriers that we spoke about in those previous videos. Okay, and essentially that we use a combination of different strategies. We control the room that we're in, we acknowledge who we're talking to and build trust with our audience. We clarify their understanding, and all round we ensure that we speak and use clear language in order to get our message across the audience to ensure that they comprehend what we are saying. So now that my listener is free of these barriers, he can actually understand what we're telling him. So he's a happy little chap. My message got across to the audience. So job well done. We broke down those barriers.